Ever dream of being a co-pilot? Soaring above the clouds with the best view in the world.
It's definitely a career path that calls to a certain kind of person.
Well, today's deep dive is going to bring us back down to earth on that fantasy.
Yeah.
In a good way. We're dissecting RoleCatcher's co-pilot career guide
Well,
to see what it really takes to get into that pilot seat.
it's good.
And why RoleCatcher? Well, I'm constantly hearing about them.
Right.
They're the ones using AI to help people navigate careers, land jobs,
Mm-hmm.
even ace those nerve-wracking interviews.
Sure.
But forget the fancy algorithms for a sec. Their guide gets down to brass tacks.
It does, and it starts right off the bat, acknowledging the incredible commitment this career demands.
Right off the bat, they don't sugarcoat it.
No sugarcoating here.
But I guess that's what makes a good co-pilot, right?
Absolutely.
Someone who thrives under pressure, always alert.
Definitely.
So, beyond that obvious passion for aviation, what does the guide say a co-pilot actually does all day?
It's funny. A lot of people think it's just about assisting the pilot.
Right, like just along for the ride almost.
Exactly. But it's so much more than that.
Okay, so spill the beans. What else is there?
Well, they're monitoring those incredibly complex flight instruments,
Oh, right, of course.
handling constant communication with air traffic control.
Oh, wow. So they're like the communication hub.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
Yeah.
And they have to maintain constant vigilance for other aircraft.
Wow. So it's a lot of multitasking.
It really is. It's about acting as a true partner to the pilot, a second set of eyes,
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
and an equally critical decision maker,
Yeah.
especially in unexpected situations.
Okay, that's way more responsibility than I pictured. And speaking of responsibilities,
Yes.
the guide gets into the specific skills needed, and this is where it gets really interesting.
Oh, I agree.
They go beyond just the technical skills, right?
Absolutely. While those are obviously essential,
Of course.
RoleCatcher highlights active learning and critical thinking as equally crucial.
Hmm.
Which, when you think about it, makes sense.
Yeah, it's not like you can just memorize a manual and be good to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A co-pilot can't just memorize procedures. They need to constantly adapt to new information,
Right.
make split-second judgments, and analyze complex situations, all while thousands of feet in the air.
See, now that's what I'm talking about. It's that next level insight that elevates this guide beyond the basics.
I agree.
And honestly, those skills are transferable to any career. Being able to learn quickly, think critically,
Oh, absolutely.
that's gold, whether you're in the cockpit or the boardroom.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay.
Precisely. RoleCatcher really emphasizes how crucial that adaptability is,
Oh.
especially as technology continues to revolutionize the field.
For sure. And
Yeah.
speaking of revolutionizing,
Yeah.
let's talk about how someone actually climbs the ranks in this career.
Okay, sure.
The guide does a great job laying out those career stages, right?
They do, yeah.
So take us on that journey from newbie to seasoned pro.
Okay, so they break it down really well, starting with the entry-level co-pilot position.
Makes sense.
You gain experience, clock those crucial flight hours, and work your way up to junior, then senior co-pilot.
Okay, so far so good.
But what's fascinating is that becoming a captain isn't just about seniority.
Oh,
It's presented as a promotion.
a promotion. So it's not automatic.
Not quite, no.
Tell me more about that.
Sure.
What does it take to reach that captain level, to really stand out from the crowd?
Well, it's about more than just, logging flight hours.
Right. It's not just about seniority.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about demonstrating leadership,
Okay.
strategic thinking, and even mentorship skills.
Interesting.
The guide emphasizes that a captain isn't just flying the plane.
Right. They've got a whole crew to think about.
Yes. They're leading a team, making those high-stakes decisions,
Oh, I bet.
and ultimately, they're responsible for everyone on board.
Now that's pressure. And I'm guessing those certifications you mentioned play a big role too.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't just waltz in with a pilot's license and expect to be handed the keys to a jumbo jet.
Definitely not RoleCatchers. Very clear about that.
Okay, good to know.
The Airline Transport Pilot License, or ATPL, is non-negotiable for becoming a captain.
So that's like the top tier certification.
It really is. It's the highest level of pilot certification,
Wow.
demonstrating a deep understanding of aviation regulations, meteorology, navigation, and aircraft systems.
So it's not just about being a good pilot, it's about knowing the ins and outs of the whole industry.
Exactly. Think of it as the PhD of the pilot world.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So even experienced co-pilots still have some serious studying to do.
Oh, absolutely.
It really shows the level of expertise required. And then on top of the ATPL,
Yeah.
you mentioned type ratings.
Yes. These are specialized certifications for specific aircraft models.
Ah, okay, so it's like you need a license for each type of plane?
Essentially, yes.
Hmm.
So even if you have your ATPL, you'll need a type rating for, say, a Boeing 747 to actually fly one.
It's like a whole other level of specialization.
Yeah.
So much to learn. But speaking of preparation,
hmm
let's talk about the interview process.
Okay, sure.
The guide dives into that, and I'm guessing it's pretty intense.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where RoleCatcher's insights are so valuable.
Oh, how so?
Well, they actually provide sample interview questions,
That's helpful.
which gives you a real feel for what to expect. And it's not just about technical knowledge.
Right, because you could know everything about planes, but still freeze up in an interview.
Exactly. They want to see how you handle pressure, how you work in a team.
Makes sense. Those are crucial skills for a co-pilot.
Absolutely. And how you solve problems, especially unexpected ones, in a fast-paced, high-stakes environment.
Okay, that's making me sweat a little, and I'm not even the one applying.
Yeah, it's a tough field.
Can you give us an example, one of those make-or-break interview questions that really throws you for a loop?
Sure. Imagine this. You're in an interview, and they ask, tell us about a time you had to make a critical decision with limited information.
Ooh, that's a tough one already.
Right. And then they say, how did you handle it, and what was the outcome?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It really forces you to think on your feet.
It does.
But I can see how that's directly relevant to the job. You have to be cool under pressure.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And it's not just about having a good answer.
Right. It's about how you think.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's about demonstrating your thought process, your ability to stay calm, assess the situation,
Right.
and make the best possible call with the information you have.
So it's about showcasing those critical thinking skills we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
It all ties together. But, thinking about the future, the guide also touched on technology changing the aviation landscape.
It did, yeah. It's a really important point.
How do those advancements play into the role of a co-pilot?
Well, we're seeing increasing automation.
Right, like autopilot systems and such.
Yes, but even more than that, AI being incorporated into flight systems.
Oh, wow, so it's getting really advanced.
It is. And then
Yeah.
there's the rise of unmanned aircraft.
Right, like drones and such.
Exactly.
Hmm.
All of these advancements are changing what it means to be a co-pilot.
So it's not just about knowing how to fly a plane anymore.
It's about so much more than that.
It's about understanding these complex systems, right?
Yes,
Almost like being a tech whiz on top of everything else.
exactly. Co-pilots of the future will need to be comfortable interacting with these advanced systems.
So they need to be tech savvy.
Yes, monitoring them,
Mhm.
troubleshooting issues.
Oh, so there's a technical aspect to it as well.
Absolutely. Even potentially taking over in case of malfunctions.
That's a lot of responsibility.
It is. It's a whole new frontier in aviation.
It's fascinating, though, a bit daunting, too, right? Like, the learning curve just got a whole lot steeper.
I think that's a fair assessment.
It really makes you think, it's not your grandfather's cockpit anymore. But all this talk about the future of aviation,
Right.
it kind of begs the question, what does the future hold for aspiring co-pilots? Like, what's their first step on this high-tech journey?
Well, even with all the tech advancements, some things never change.
Yeah.
The guide emphasizes that obtaining a private pilot's license is still that crucial first step.
Makes sense. Gotta learn to fly before you can co-pilot a commercial airliner, right?
Precisely. But then, it's not just about racking up flight hours.
Okay, so what else is there?
RoleCatcher stresses the importance of, continuous learning from day one.
Okay, I like that. Continuous learning.
They suggest diving into aviation publications, staying current on industry news.
So, like, really immersing yourself in that world.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Even joining online forums and communities.
Oh, right, to get you with other pilots and stuff.
Exactly. Stay ahead of the curve.
So it's like immersing yourself in the world of aviation even before you land that first job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as technology evolves, co-pilots who are actively seeking out new knowledge, refining their skills, and staying curious about those emerging technologies.
Those are the ones who are going to really succeed.
They're the ones who will thrive.
Exactly. It's like they always say, the sky's the limit, right? But seriously, it's incredible how this career demands both deep expertise and this constant drive to adapt and learn.
It really does. And I think that's what makes RoleCatcher's guide so valuable.
What do you mean?
Well, it doesn't shy away from the challenges,
Right, it's not all sunshine and roses.
Exactly. But it also highlights those incredible rewards and the constant evolution of this profession.
Well said. And on that note, let's bring this deep dive in for a smooth landing.
Sounds good.
To all our listeners out there who are now inspired to pursue a career as a co-pilot, It's demanding but rewarding, requiring more than just technical prowess. But those essential soft skills like communication, adaptability, and of course, a thirst for knowledge are key.
And don't forget about the ability to stay calm under pressure, make critical decisions, and embrace the ever-changing world of aviation technology.
Couldn't have put it better myself. A huge thanks to RoleCatcher for this insightful guide, and to you, our listeners, for joining us on this high-flying adventure. But before we go, RoleCatcher leaves us with one final thought-provoking question. How do you think the role of a co-pilot might be different in 10 years? Head over to rollcatcher.com for more and let us know your thoughts. Until next time, happy flying.